Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Dublin and back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to the results of Vidbir 2023. Tvorchi have won and will represent Ukraine in Eurovision 2023. So let's kiki. So today I'm going to talk about the show as well as watching the final performance from Tvorchi, and then I'm also going to talk about the other entrants as well and maybe why they didn't win. So if you want to skip to any of those parts, just use the progress bar. I'll put in chapters. So first of all, about the show, I thought it was absolutely amazing. To think that currently Ukraine is at war right now. The show, I think, was in the, I don't know if it was in the metro station or if it was in a bunker, but it was definitely underground. I know Jamalis used the word basement. But yeah, really amazing that Ukraine was still able to host this amazing show despite the circumstances that they're in. I posted a tweet saying, why are Ukraine able to do this and Ireland isn't even able to have its own national final? I just do not understand how Ukraine, with so few resources right now, are still able to do a full, proper national final. To be honest, it looked like previous Vidbirs to me. There was very minimal difference. Obviously things looked a little bit smaller, but it looked amazing. They had great visuals behind. The presenters were excellent. You know, really, they did such a good job of pulling off what looked like a very similar Vidbir. There's no excuse for someone like Ireland, who's not even having its own national final. It's a sideshow on the Late Late Show. And other people who make excuses about the national finals, there's just no excuse this year. Another thing I really loved is that the show was on YouTube. This is one of the only national finals I think that's on YouTube. It is just makes it accessible to everyone. I think Ukraine is so conscious of the international audience. They really get Eurovision and they're just very conscious of the community and reactors. They're just really in touch and in sync with the community and Eurovision, what's going on. They're very passionate about it. There's like a lot of love and conscious thought that goes into the show. So being on YouTube makes a big difference. It makes it really easy to watch for everybody. You don't have to scroll through a site trying to navigate and work out where to find things. And then also for me, when I used to live in Asia, I used to get spoilers when I was watching the next morning the national finals. So I wish this was a thing that all national finals are on YouTube. That is the ultimate dream. But not surprising that Ukraine is one of the first ones to have the vision to do that and have this like very accessible, welcoming attitude to Vidbir. So the winners were Tvorchi. Now this was a bit of a surprise. They were my number 2 when I did my reaction. I already have reacted to all the songs in Vidbir before. I might put a link up here, hopefully. I think it really stood out because it was much more fighter. I felt the tone this year in the majority of the songs was much more melancholic than I was expecting. I was expecting quite like a fiery, angry Vidbir this year. The tone was a bit more mourning and kind of introspective than I was expecting. I was expecting something a little bit more kind of like, screw you, get out of our country. But the 2 songs that for me that stood out were Fiinka and Tvorchi for being a bit more just like oomphy, kind of like, here we are, we're fighting, we're strong. I think that was part of the reason what helped Tvorchi. And in any case, I'm gonna watch their live performance. This is not the first time watching it. I did watch the show as well. Sorry, you can see rings and Now Vidbir do tend to take down videos, so hopefully this goes up, but if you're getting chopped up, it means that they have copyrighted me. Okay, this is Tvorchi, Heart of Steel, Wanna Know My Secret, bang. There's a great start, really like shocking intro. Visuals are great as well, really, really striking. Love his outfit as well. Sometimes just gotta know when to stick your middle finger up in the air. See, I like that stick your middle finger up in there. That's the attitude I was expecting. And that's brilliant, like those words coming out of his mouth, so gorgeous. He's got a lovely voice as well. And he's got a real confidence on stage. Like, he's got a smoothness and he just looks really relaxed. Yeah, it's got a real like cool, I like this, kind of feels like a little bit of a throwback to the 90s, that background instrumentation. Oh, I didn't notice some of these images now. Oh god, the gas mask on. Okay, strong imagery in the background. I remember the Transylvania computer game music. Yeah, the imagery is really cool. It's very artistic. Are those dancers or? I can't even tell if they're dancers or if it's on the screen. I think they're dancers. When I was watching this originally, I was in the gym, so I was only kind of half watching, half working out. So some of it is new to me. Okay, they are dancers. It is really cool. I genuinely could not tell. There's so many like really amazing artistic stuff going on. And just musically, it's very interesting. It's very unique. It sounds familiar, like it's got that 80s, 90s feel, but then it's also got this kind of like, it's just an interesting fusion. I remember the radioactive symbol part. It's definitely going to stand out. Like, we don't tend to see something like this in Eurovision. It's got like, it's just got a real cool, unique identity. It's going to be really, really special, and you know, people will definitely remember it. Awesome. Yeah, lovely. God, that was even the visuals really elevated that, because it was such a like rich platter of really gorgeous visuals. I like the main theme of the yellow and black. So it was really interesting for me that this won. I was interested to see what did Ukrainians want to send in this quite important year. Like, we had a slight clue from last year based on what they chose. So one thing that I got wrong is I thought that Ukrainians would prefer something that was in Ukrainian. So I was really surprised that actually they didn't mind sending a song that was totally in English. I suppose they had a song that was completely in Ukrainian last year, so maybe mixing it up a little bit. But yeah, that was really interesting for me to see that that wasn't a deal breaker, that it was in English. Now, Tvorchi going 10th definitely helped. They were last in the running order. We always know that that helps with the televote, because they won the televote and then they came second on the jury. When Heil got 8 points on the jury, I thought that they were setting up that she was going to win the televote and it was going to be a tiebreak on 18 points and she was going to win. So I was genuinely really surprised when Tvorchi won. I was pleasantly surprised because I think the song is really interesting and different and new, which is what I love Ukraine sending, and I just love in general in Eurovision, is something different, unique, special, like a talking point, a new point of view, a new imagery. So I love it. I love that the group is a mix. So there's two guys in the group. We have Andriy, who's from Ukraine, and we have Jeffrey, who I believe his Wikipedia page says he was born in Nigeria, but I don't know if he grew up there. But I don't think that he speaks Ukrainian, because he did his acceptance speech in English. So anyway, I still love that it's like two cultures fusing together as well. And I also love the representation of a black person representing an Eastern European country, because that doesn't really happen that often. The only times I can really think of is when Gaitana represented Ukraine. I think that she's mixed race Ukrainian. And then also we had in Junior Eurovision for Poland, but generally in the Eastern European countries, we don't really have any non-white representation that often. So this is really cool as well, kind of showing off like a newer Eastern Europe. So I think that's really great as well. And I love Jeffrey. I think he's really excellent performer, really great voice, excellent confidence on stage. In the end, I think what it comes down to was, I made a comment in my original reaction that I felt that this was the fightier of the contestants, and I think maybe that's why Ukrainians chose this. It just felt a little bit more kind of upbeat, fire in the chest, FU, as opposed to mourning or kind of like sadder song. So I'm guessing that's one of the big appeals for it. It's a great song as well, and the visuals I thought were really great. I love the fact that I couldn't tell if the dancers were real or not because of the kind of tricks with the light. I thought that was brilliant, so I hope they bring something like that. We know that Ukraine always bring amazing staging. By the way, I will do like my final Ukraine video when they release a music video. Every year I do a video for every single country where I talk about that country in the competition and look at their final product. So presumably they'll have their video released in a couple of months. Okay, so talking about some of the other acts, there was quite a lot of surprise that Heil and Krut didn't win. Krut was my number 1, Heil was my number 3. I thought Heil's performance was really great. I loved her white headphones with the kind of like traditional Ukrainian headdress, this kind of like fusion of modern and more traditional symbols of women in different times. Yeah, for the performance was great. My slight issue with the song is that I love the first minute. I think it's really jarring and surprising, but then I feel like it loses a little bit of steam. It feels it gets a little bit lost towards the end and kind of, for lack of a better word, rambles a tiny bit. I gave it the edge over Tvorchi in my head because it was so shocking and also had more Ukrainian. I think I was really fixated on the fact I thought Ukrainians would want a song completely in Ukrainian in this year. and I was surprised to see that wasn't as big an issue. With Krut, I think the problem was just that this song is really lovely, but I don't think it's as good as 99. I think she was runner-up in 2020. That song 99 was really, really lovely, and just melodically I felt it was a lot stronger. I had much more of a like real obvious and beautiful climax than Lullaby did. I just felt Lullaby is a really pretty song. It just isn't as strongly written a song as 99. I feel like if you swap them, I feel possibly 99's melody would have been enough to have won. But she still got 10 with the jury, so she won the jury. I think she got 8 with the... Yeah, she got 8. So she ended up coming second in. So she's second twice, which is not a nice place to be in. But yeah, again, I think the song was possibly what brought it. I thought the staging was quite nice. She had these reds and blacks, and she was playing her traditional instrument, and then she gave it to a boy, and then he started playing. Probably like pretty imagery, but like if you look at Tvorchi's, that was much more striking, much more making a big statement, an obvious visual statement, especially to me as someone who doesn't understand Ukrainian. I got the message of Tvorchi's a lot clearer than I did with Krut. But I still think it was a great national final. Again, it just shows what can be done in any circumstances. You can still hold a really great national final. In terms of how I think this will do in the competition, I'm going to wait and see until I've got a bit more information about who else is in the competition. But I would expect this is something that can be competing to being on the left side of the scoreboard. I don't think this will win. Obviously, you have to see more of the songs, but I don't feel like it's got that same X factor that Stephanie had. I felt Stephanie was a very deserving winner. I don't get that same with this. I think this is a really, really great, strong entry, and I think it's a really cool representation of Ukraine, but I don't think that it'll win. So, but I would still expect them to be possibly pushing towards the top 10. If Ukraine can do their absolutely amazing visuals, we always know that they can break the top 10, top 5. Like Shrum visuals, absolutely spectacular. People were talking about not qualifying. Not me, I said it was always going to qualify, but people were talking about not qualifying, and then it ended up coming 5th, I think, because the visual upgrade was just absolutely magnificent. Okay, let me know what you think of Heart of Steel by Tvorchi in the comment section down below, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye.